Hi everyone, Angela here. For the larger one, I'll be cutting my fabric 8 inches square, so first I just want to tape off my template to that measurement. For the smaller one, I'll use my template that's 6.5 inches square. First trim away any selvage and straighten the edge of your fabric. Then cut one for the main piece. For the grippy side, cut out one piece of non-slip drawer liner. You'll find that some are stickier than others. Cut this piece 6 inches square. If you want to add an optional lining, cut this the same size, 6 inches square. For extra convenience, you can add a small magnet. I'm using a 3/4 inch craft strength magnet. For the smaller one, I'm cutting the fabric 6.5 inches square and the liner 4.5 inches square. With the main piece wrong side up, place the magnet in the center. Center the lining on top with right side up, and then place the grippy non-slip liner on top. Make sure to position it evenly so that there's 1 inch all around. Pin all around close to the magnet to hold all the layers in place and to keep the magnet from moving to the sides. Fold the right side in half, leaving a small gap between the edge of the fabric and the edge of the liner. Crease along the fold and fold again right against the edge and clip in place. At the bottom, bring this corner up to this edge. Fold it up, leaving a small gap between the edges and creating a 45-degree angle. Hold the corner in place and fold up the bottom edge in half, again leaving that small gap. Fold up again right against the edge of the liner. Push down and flatten the side fabric into the corner, match the folded edges, creating a nice mitered corner, and clip in place. Repeat with the rest of the sides and corners. If you're finding this video helpful, make sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on all notifications, and leave a comment below. As always, I'd love to know where in the world you're watching from. You can also show your support by becoming a member. Now, because I have directional fabric, I don't want to have any back stitching at the top corners, so I'll start my stitching from this bottom corner here. I'm using the Juki TL2010Q sewing machine. The link for this and the tools I use are down in the description below. If you're in Australia or New Zealand, click the link for Echidna Sewing and Juki Junkies for North America. Increase the stitch length to a setting between 3 and 4. As I mentioned earlier, some of these non-slip liners are stickier than others, and you might have an issue sewing over it with just your standard presser foot. Even with only half the presser foot on the non-slip lining, you may feel slight resistance when sewing, which may distort the edge or cause curling. With the entire presser foot on the non-slip liner, it can drag and stretch the top and gather up the bottom. You can try applying some masking tape or painter's tape on the bottom of the presser foot. This is a little better with half the foot on the liner, but there's still some slight drag. With the entire foot on the liner, there's definitely still some sticking and dragging. Next, we'll try a Teflon presser foot with a slippery, low-friction surface. It should glide over the rubbery liner. With half the foot on the liner, it feels pretty smooth with almost no drag. With the entire foot on the liner, it sews over smoothly with almost no drag. This is a Teflon ring foot, the TRF 1-2. The rings have teeth all around, and they just snap onto the bottom of the Teflon foot. The foot is spring-loaded, and the rings won't cling on to sticky fabrics. The rings rotate, moving with the feed dogs, feeding in the fabric through nicely. When both rings are on the liner, it stitches smoothly without any drag. Although this works well, it is a little bulky and blocks your view a little bit. This is the walking foot, also called an even feed foot, for this Juki machine. This forked arm sits over the needle clamp screw, and as it moves up and down, this foot lifts and steps forward. This is also a walking foot for a domestic machine. With this walking foot, it sews over the non-slip liner smoothly, no problem at all. We won't need to with this project, but let's just try it with the liner on the bottom. Again, it sews smoothly and effortlessly. If it sticks to the needle plate or the machine bed, you can cover the area with some tissue paper or painter's tape. If you can't use any of those methods, here's another little hack using template plastic. From the shorter side, I cut 3 strips, each 3/4 of an inch wide. With 2 of the strips, place them 1/8 of an inch apart and tape the ends together. If you don't have template plastic, you can use cardstock or just cut strips from something like a tissue box. To prevent bird nesting, bring up the bobbin thread and hold on to both ends when you start your stitching, or you can use a piece of scrap fabric and use it as a leader. Again, I don't want to start the stitching at the top, so I'll start from this bottom corner. Edge stitch 1/8 of an inch in from the folded edge, starting at the seam of the mitered corner. Lower the needle down into position and then the presser foot. Place the single strip down with the edge right against the folded edge of the fabric. Start with a back tack and stitch to the next corner. Not only does the strip keep the presser foot from sticking to the liner, but the extra layer keeps the presser foot even and level, and the stitching just glides along smoothly. At the corner, stop with the needle down right at the mitered edge. Lift the presser foot, pivot, place the strip against the next edge, and continue stitching. It really helps to use a pointy tool to control the fabric edges. The one I'm using is a point turner and a finger press. Again, the links are down in the description. I'm switching over to the cardboard strip just to show you that it works just as well. At the corners, move the cardboard strip onto the liner so you can see the next fabric edge. Let me know down in the comments if you've made jar openers before and if you've had any issues. To finish, backstitch over the stitches at the start. I want to finish with the magnet at the top here and not at the bottom. Flip it so that the top is here and remove the pins. The magnets drop down here now. Place a pin on top to keep it in place. To keep the layers from separating when twisting the lid, we'll stitch diagonally from corner to corner. And to keep the magnet from sticking onto the metal plate, turn it so that the magnet is on the left-hand side. Start and finish from the corners of the edge stitching. Center the open end of the double strip onto that corner. Then center the other end straight down with the other corner. Stitch straight across, backstitching at each corner. If your strips are a little short, just lift your presser foot and pull it down. Then repeat with the other diagonal stitch line. So the plastic and the cardboard strips work beautifully over the liner, preventing any sticking, and it also helps you sew a perfectly straight line. The magnet here will slip down towards the center, so if you want to keep it in place, you can stitch around it. For the smaller one, I'm not going to sew it with any lining, no magnet, and I'm not going to clip around first. I'll just pin the liner in place, use the Teflon foot, and fold the edges as I go. I just want to show you what a quick sew this is. This little one took me just over 3.5 minutes to stitch it all together. I do have another tutorial from a couple of years ago for a more basic style. You sew 2 squares together and turn right side out. When you get to the last corner, don't cut the thread, instead pivot and stitch the diagonal line across. If you find it difficult sewing straight, just fold up the other corner and stitch towards it. If you want to press the edges flat, make sure to have the liner side down and lightly press the fabric side. Use 2 of these openers to get a really good grip. You can keep the smaller one handy when you're on the go. These can also be used as non-slip coasters and mug rugs, and wouldn't it be nice to include these as part of a gift basket? I hope you enjoy making these. Be sure to check out some of my other tutorials. Thanks again for watching. Take care and happy sewing.